Hello friends, welcome back to In It All Is Art. Happy September to you. This is the second portion of the HodgePodge of Halloween DIYs. In this video there is a skeleton urn, wall-hanging urn. It's from Michael's. This is a gorgeous piece. Well done, Michael's, on this one. Again, not sponsored by Michael's, but that's my favorite local craft store. So most of everything I share that's new is from Michael's. So all of this faux floral, these succulents, I think everything's about 40% off or 50% off right now, so it's a good time to get it before it all sells out. Yeah, so this piece is going to be in that front entryway. If you've been watching any of the other videos, you'll know that. I'm going to struggle a little bit with this foam until I realize that I need to hot glue it down in there. And then I do that and then it works well. At any rate, I am going to speed up some of this. I hope you enjoy. I had a lot of fun putting this one together. Even though it was a little unwieldy, it does come together, I think, in a really lovely kind of way. The other two projects that are in this DIY hodgepodge are some witch brooms and then some upgrading of some summer floral from Michael's that I'm going to turn into autumnal Halloween floral. And so those projects will be coming along, and I do hope you stay tuned to the end. These black and gold begonia leaves, I think, suit this urn just perfectly. It reminds me of a very kind of almost New Orleans kind of feel, this gothic New Orleans kind of vampire feel. And I think it's going to be beautiful out there. This front entryway that I keep imagining and have been describing to you throughout my videos is going to have this witchy apothecary conservatory kind of feel to it. And as I'm building these DIYs, maybe you're getting a sense of what that might feel like. I'm hoping going to be very dark and elegant, very witchy and spooky, but also really, really beautiful. And with all of the lights that I plan to use, I think it's just going to be I want to have it there all year round, but probably will not. That fell off of that really long succulent pick, I just kind of created a new little pick out of them with some wire and then tucked them in on other areas, and it kind of spread that look throughout. I also harvested some of that longer succulent pick to really spread that look out. I really enjoy that look in particular in this piece. It also has a really neat feel. So there was some like ASMR texture stuff going on while I was making this. But I think that just adds such a really lovely, like lush, really like succulent, because that's what it is, right? False, but still. So that look, I wanted that a little more spread throughout the piece. And then I add more of those begonia leaves in. I'll just play around with some other color and texture for a little while until I see what fits. So to add some length to a different texture, I'm just going to use some wire and add those pieces together. So at the end of this video, I will give you a look at what this looks like under the black lights. And in the meantime, I'm going to shift into the second project for this hodgepodge, which is some fairy skeletons. I'm clipping off those little butterfly antennae as they do not quite fit the theme of a fairy. I really enjoy these little butterflies. They're from Michael's. As I recall, the skeletons actually came from Joanne. May Joanne rest in peace. I will miss that store greatly. These two just hang on my little light tree there by my art table, and I'm not sure if they're going to be indoor or outdoor for the Halloween decor, but I will certainly update you when I find out. So for this project, there are some large foam flowers. They came from the summer clearance sale at Michael's. I think that they were probably 75 to 90% off. So really just maybe a couple of dollars at the most. And I'm going to paint them and make them more muted to be part of the Halloween decor. For this front entryway that I am hopefully it comes out as well as I'm hoping it will. So just imagining this flower, or a series of them, because I think I have 3, maybe 4 of them. And they're going to be just interspersed between the vines and webs and all of the kind of spooky spiders and things like that I plan to put up. So garden, apothecary, conservatory theme, but kind of in a whimsical, magical, like not realistic kind of way, clearly, because these are huge blooms. So really it's just whatever makes my eye happy. So there's the 3 of them together. I think that those colors are already pretty Halloweeny, but I just deepened them so that they don't look so fresh and vibrant and summery. And we'll see how they look when they go into the big display. So the last project for this hodgepodge of DIYs is the kind of livening up of these 2 brooms. They've been in my collection for a very long time. They were thrifted, and I'm just gonna give them some new life with some faux floral foliage and some paint. I found this bunch of floral wire, kind of a paper-coated floral wire at a thrift store, and I was like, ooh, that will be a really good kind of tool for holding things together. I did not anticipate how challenging this stuff would be to work with. I worked with my pliers, I worked with my hands, and it took a lot of effort to get these as tight as I wanted them to be. So much so that I had to redo it a couple of times to really figure out what would help this adhere and stick around. And I ended up using just floral wire to start with to actually hold the ferns in place. And then I go back in with that thicker floral wire because I like the look of it, and that made it much easier. I also found that making little bundles of the ferns helped to just make it easier to secure them to the broom. But I really enjoy how this like kind of almost acid green of the ferns looks against the black broom. I think they make a really lovely pairing, and the finished product of this broom, though it took quite an effort, this was probably one of the more difficult projects that I took on, just because of how unwieldy the wire was. But I adore how it turned out. bringing in that really thick wire. I definitely struggled with this. I think the finished product is good, and it's a trust the process kind of a thing. But this was like a frustrating experience. I had the idea that if I coil the wire, it would hold the shape, like the memory of that shape would stay, and then I just slide it down the broom handle, and that seemed to work. That seemed to make it a little tighter, and then I was able to use some torque to get it to stay. Success. This is coming along now. And apparently I am a glutton for punishment, and I'm going to do it again. So I'm just adding one more of those wires. I feel really successful in that. And that kind of adds the level of bulk that I'm looking for to transition from the what is it called? The broom handle to the rest of the broom, to the sweepy part of the broom, losing my words. And then after some consideration, I decide to add one more, just to add a little bit more of that texture. I think it looks really neat, kind of wild, definitely cottagecore, witchy vibes going on with this broom. And now I'm going to add a thicker, more pliable stem from, I think it was some hydrangeas, faux hydrangeas, and it's a really neat texture, kind of a waxy looking finish, and it's very, very pliable and bendable, so really a joy to work with after those harder wires. But that is another stage of kind of transition in size for the kind of in between the broom handle and the base of the broom. And incidentally, I just want to say, if anybody is a broom maker, I just admire you. That is hard work. So these are some leaves from that hydrangea stem, and it's got that same just really lovely kind of waxy finish. And I'm going to add those in around the base of the transition space. I don't really know what to call that. If anybody has words for what that area is between the broom handle and the base of the broom, please do let me know. But I think this is just kind of embellishes with some added texture and color. It really carries the greens that I'm looking for in this piece, and really ties it together. I'm just adding in some other faux foliage of different textures to kind of add to that. This one has kind of a muted tan and gold, so it does change up the color scheme a little bit, but I think it adds to it. And then to fill in some gaps in that little section with the wires, I'm going to just add some moss with some hot glue, and that finishes that area off. So I seem to have lost the footage of the beads. I found these really beautiful beads in my stash, and I just coiled them up and hot glued them to the broom handle. I think they just tie the whole thing together. They're kind of a deep gold. I'm not really sure what stone they are. I'm gonna have to do a little research on that. They've been in my collection for a long time. And to wrap this project up, I am coming in with some black acrylic paint and just cleaning up any areas that have hot glue strands or are too weathered. And I will shift over to the other broom here momentarily. So for this broom, I'm going to start by kind of refreshing some of the paint on the bristles. This is a straw broom and it was already painted kind of a deep orange when I first found it at a thrift store. So I'm going to come in with some bronze and some neon orange and some just regular pumpkin orange to kind of refresh that. The neon is UV reactive, so that part will glow in the dark and will glow under the black light. I'm going to refresh the silver paint on that broom handle using Kuretake silver mica. I also decided to brighten up that wrapping around the base of the broom just to highlight it a little bit more. going to use waxed linen bookbinding thread to attach these faux florals, these little mini pumpkins. They're velvet. They are from Grocery Outlet. Super cheap, but super cute. And then the leaves and the other pick, I think it's a heather, are from Michael's. I can imagine a witch in Scotland or Ireland or someplace with beautiful moors and heather, going out and gathering some wild heather on the moors and then creating her broom and weaving that into it. And I think that the color with the leaves and the pumpkins all just go really lovely together.